bridge, and we are going to take a look at the engineers who's working under the sun.
好的，我们现在是进到了这。
看一下我领略一下我们杨四港大桥建设过程中的风采。
现在咱们这个塔顶有多高啊？
我们的主塔太阳岸。
So how high is the tower? Our major tower is around 208 meters. So when we were constructing the major tower, it takes us over 6 months, and the construction work is quite difficult. So the major tower is also one of the highest major towers in the world. This is majorly because of our structure designing process, and the data was actually being calculated to quite fine algorithms. Through our camera, you can see that we are actually viewing the Yangtze River, and the Yangtze River is actually having a quite broad view. Although we are climbing quite fast, but we are climbing at a quite stable speed. We have our security requirement, and we actually pay attention to every details of the working environment. Every day, our drivers of the lift is checking the safety of the lift, and we were sure that once this is put into actions, all of these maneuvers is under quite safety check. So, with a higher view, I can see that some of the people who are afraid of the height might not be climbing this height, because we are having our requirement. For those people who are being suffered from hypertension or cardiovascular disease, we are not allowing them to go into this height. All the staffs and engineers, before they enter into the work site, we have their body examinations, and all of their data are being kept over at our controlling center. Every day, we must make sure that they are in a quite healthy body status, that they can enter into the bridge. And this is nothing like other construction sites. It's also a task for our mental status. From our very first day, we really pay attention to safety and securities. And for all the viewers who are in front of the television, you might feel quite a little bit scared of what we are viewing right now. Because the bridge is made of fiber glasses, so you can actually see through the bridge of what's happening upside. This might be a challenge for me mentally, right? So let me give you a tour in the upper level. So with a border view, we can have a general understanding of the cut levels. This is actually like a linear level bridge. Let's see that from the top of the towers to the middle of this bridge, there's 170-meter gap, and our bridge is actually covering 1,700 meters. And if we counted all the slopes, that's 800 meters. So for the landscapes in Wuhan, the mountains is just like in 100 meters or 1,000, between 100 meters to 1,000 meters. And our workers and engineers is just like climbing the mountain every day. Especially recently, we have suffered from several dozens of days of high temperatures. This is a quite huge challenge for all the engineers and workers at the site. we want to avoid any potential damages from the high temperatures. And right now, we actually avoided for our staffs and engineers to work at noon. And we give them a series of medications, and we have some the first aid and emergency treatments. We provide them watermelons and other waters to help them maintain a quite good nutrition level. You can see that his clothes was also wetted because of the temperature. And especially for the workers and the engineers, every day their clothes got wet 3 to 4 times. The evaporations for the human body is actually at high tense levels, and because we have a national standard that during the construction sites, when the temperature is above 37 degrees centigrade, it means that we should limit the working time for staffs and engineers working at the sites. For any staffs and workers, and also for our construction sites, if the engineers and workers they are suffered from the high temperatures, this might be creating some of the challenge for the engineering project and also for the workers who are doing this project. Do you want to speed up the constructions of the bridge to satisfy the resting times of the workers and the engineers? So I think strategically we should think about speeding up the project. But when we are talking about lining our strategies, we should think about the efficiencies of the staffs and the engineers. And our workers is actually work at 2 and 3 shifts per day. And we can actually utilizing this system for them to do some of the extra work during the night time. As from the controlling, as from the, so we are actually entered into the middle part of the Wuhan Yangtze port, Yangtze River bridge. It feels like I'm closer to the heaven. And on top of the bridge, the wind is actually higher, and the wind is actually. So sometimes the engineers and the workers, they are not only facing about the high temperatures, suffered from the high temperatures, and also the heavy wind and rain on top of the bridge. Here you can see the views of the Yangtze River is quite magnificent. As the Golden River of China, Yangtze River is actually connecting the mainland of China, several provinces. This is also the third Yangtze River Bridge in Wuhan municipality. On the work site, we have hangovers everywhere to make sure that the engineers and the workers, they check about their safety belt at every moment. Could you tell us what he's working right now? So the workers is actually check about the pressuring machine to get sure the ropeway is actually working at the normal status quo. This is like he has to follow the ropeway right. And so for every day, he spent over 10 hours and working through the ropeways for one time. And if he wants to work through the general ropeways, it will cost him 1 hour. And every day he spent 10 hours working around the ropeways. Apart from the stress suspensions, there is no blockage, and the highest temperature area is around the settlement area. And on top of the towers, the wind is actually quite huge, and we actually take this way to enter into the major tower. Right now we are actually at the platform of the major tower. All the engineers is trying to control the pressure machines at the top of the towers. It's actually quite hot on the platform, and I can feel that I'm a little bit closer to the sun. We have a specific machine testing about the wind speed. Today we have a 1 to 2 level wind speed. This is our wind testing machine. So every day our work is being divided by several different levels. Firstly, we settle up the cableways, and for this Wuhan Yangtze port, Yangtze River Bridge, we have 271 cableways. Every single ropeway is around 2,300 meters. So if we connected all of our stress cable together, we can actually circling the Earth for 3.5 times. Let's take a look at that. Right now we are actually at the major tower of Wuhan Yangtze Port, Yangtze River Bridge. This is the 10th Yangtze River Bridge in Wuhan. This is also the world's largest double-decker suspension bridge. So the workers need to work on the top of the cables. So before we officially enter into the cableways, we need to be clear about the security requirement. If you are not feeling quite well, or if you have any mental issues, we don't allow you to go to the ropeways, and we also have a requirement of the clothes. For example, you need to wear the safety hat, the helmet. And when there's above 6 level storm, we actually forbidden any activities on top of the ropeway. Weather has a quite huge influence on the working conditions on the ropeway. This is something I should pay attention to. So, two people on the ropeway should not work in parallel on the ropeway. So right now, we are about to enter into the major part of the lanes. So right now we actually entered into the catway. So we need to work on top of this wooden area. So for the general catway, it actually have a quite strict slope. We have a series of the different barriers to prevent any slope event happening on the gateway. This wooden block is specifically designed to protect all the workers and engineers from any sloping event on the gateway.
方向来看的话，还不是感觉这样高空作业经验的人来说，其实感觉还好，就是没有像我大的一个心理落差。我们已经当的江面之上，看一下我们江已经到。 从这里一点，挺牢固。
像您看到的前面这个像门式的这个结构，就是我们猫道门架。
这个框是吧？像门框一样。
猫道门架立在我们猫道面网上，一个跟用底板构建两个猫道。
This is actually the stress structures for the gateway. We were using the stress structures of the gateway to connecting different parts of the gateway, and we are also using two lines of the dragging ropes to connect it the upper side and lower side of the gateway. So for the single stress fiber, the diameter is around 6 millimeters. So we have over 2,836 meters of the stress fibers. And if you connected all the steel fiber together, it can actually circle in the earth for 3 rounds. So the metallurgical steel fiber used in this bridge, this is actually specifically designed for the project, and this is also being firstly adopted in the bridge. For the traditional suspension bridge, their diameters is diameters of the steel fiber they use is around 5 millimeters, but right now we are using around 6 millimeters. The larger the diameter is, the more weight it can undertake. So because when we were designing the bridge, we actually designed a quite heavy load, and we were designing the bridge to be undertake over 60,000 tons of the weight. So we can use this fiber to actually drag a potential shape.
我看到下面好像有工人是在那边施工，是吗？对，我们一起过去看一下。
We can see that some of the engineers is working at the lower part. Let's go and say hello to him. So we are actually 200 meters on top of the river level.
其实我们现在是在走一个下坡，我觉得待会儿我往上走的时候，可能难度会更大一点。
Right now we are actually descending, and I think it's going to be more difficult when we are climb up. And from this perspective, we can have a clear view of the Yangtze River Bridge. That was the first Yangtze River Bridge on top of the Yangtze River.
刚才您挺很大强度的同时，也是很先进一种钢材。我曾经了解过啊，当时建武汉长江大桥的时候，有一种说法是，连一颗铆钉都需要进口，因为那个时候没有。 我国没有那种炼钢的这种技能，所以说所有的都需要靠进口来。
So when we were started our first construction project of the first Wuhan Yangtze River Bridge, even a needle we need to import it from other countries. But right now our self-built construction technology is actually leading in the world, and all of the materials of the steel fibers is actually being 100% self-developed.
现在反过来向咱们来引进咱们的技术。 引进咱们的钢材，是这样吗？是这样。
All of the major players in the construction bridge areas, they were actually learning from us. In China, we have the environment and the ability to construct a huge project like that. And for the European and American countries, their general market is being saturated and their population is limited, so they don't have the capacities to construct a project like this. And for countries like from the Africa and other Asian countries, they don't have the capacity and technologies to build up such a huge project. So they also need to learn from us. We have just entered into the major part of the bridge for over 20 minutes, and I can see that you are all wetted. Although the wind is quite heavy on top of the bridge, but we can see that you are all waited. Every morning we started our project from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. and we finished our work at 11 a.m. and every afternoon we started our project at 3 p.m. So we are about to finish our work in the morning right now. So the engineers we are going to meet, he has been working in the catways for 3 to 2 cycles. Right now, I'd like to give you a brief introduction of what we are doing right now. Here, I'm giving you the live stream report from the Wuhan Yangtze Port Yangtze River Bridge. This bridge is actually the first double-decker suspension bridge in the world. And I'm actually working at the catways of the double-decker suspension bridge. And in these catways, we have some of the suspension structures to let the workers to better construct the general structures. And the reason we choose this kind of a structure is because Yangtze River has a quite heavy traffic load. And if we can make a bridge cross the river without any supporting structures from the Yangtze River, which means there is no blockage for any traffic downloads. And from this part, you can see there are two different bridges on top of the Yangtze River. There are the first Wuhan Yangtze River Bridge. That's also the first Yangtze River cross river bridge in the world. And you can see that there are also the second world largest Yangtze River Bridge. And through the comparisons of the three bridges, you can actually feel the advancement of the technological improvement in the recent few years. This is also a quite good representation of our development in our nation's river bridge construction technologies.
工人是越来越近了，我们到前面也是他今天的工作状况。毕竟今天武汉的最高气温有37度。
We are closer to the engineers, and today the highest temperature for Wuhan municipality is around 37 degrees centigrade. Although the wind speed is quite quick on top of the sky, but at this 37 degrees centigrade temperature, this is a challenge. A test for your body and for your stigma.
师傅您好，您怎么称呼啊？罗是吗？罗师傅您好，您在这边是做什么工作呀
So hey, how can I call you? I'm Luo. I'm actually busy in charge of the draglings of the gateways, so I should follow all the ropeways and also the pressure holders. So what do? I actually see whether this line is being put into the place or whether this line is being above these structures, and are there any misplacement of the fiber. And so when did you start your work today? 5:30, right? I have been working for over 5 times, and I finished 6 loops of the working up and downs. You take no rest during today's work, right? No, we take a little bit shift, and I didn't take any rest up now. So today it's quite hard for me to working on top of the river. So when you first entered into the project, are you frightened of this height, or do you have any mental challenges? So I'm actually getting used to that. And in this high temperature, do you have any good method for you to avoid any heat stroke? I know we have specific medicines being delivered to us. And every day we prepared all kinds of supporting system for us to avoid any heat stroke. So what do you think of the biggest challenges of your work, apart from the high temperatures and high heights. I think climbing the loop is actually very difficult for me. It takes me half an hour to climb from the bottom to the top of the tower. And we need to finish that within 30 minutes. We cannot take it quite slowly. So what your colleagues is doing? They are doing the exactly same work, right, with me. So we have two people working in one team, taking care of each other. Once he felt any discomfort, we can take care of each other. Although it looks like we are not doing any real concrete work, but every day it actually means a lot of burdens for our body health. Let's go back to the top of the gateway and to follow my colleagues. I think he climbs much faster than all of us. And because every day they were working in the gateway, and they don't have a lot of rest during their work because they need to follow the middle cable. So I do care about their mental status. And because every day they're like a sportsman working for a long period of time. We actually considered about their actual work and delivered all kinds of the supporting medicines to them on top of the tower to guarantee that their body, in their body, the waters and sanitary is being kept at a quite healthy level. And right now, I can feel the difficulties for us to climb back. For one part, is that I'm not quite clear of the slopes. I feel really exhausted when I'm actually climbing up. And I think the wind is actually a little bit slower than what we have experienced in the past. Once the wind stops, the river is actually evaporated faster. So right now I feel like I'm a steam bread on top of the steaming machines, and the Yangtze River is actually the steaming machine below me. Let me give you a brief introduction of what we are doing right now. I'm actually here at the Wuhan Yangtze Port Yangtze River Bridge. This is actually the 10th Yangtze River Bridge in Wuhan municipality, and this is also the largest double-decker suspension bridge in the world. There is no supporting structures on the Yangtze River, and we can guarantee the transportation functions of our golden waterway. We are working at the catways of these Yangtze Port,
旁边的
Yangtze River Bridge. Just as introduced by engineer Yang, if we connected all these steel fibers together, it will circling the Earth for over 3 times.
好的，我们现在离主塔上是越来越近了。我们现在行走的这一条路呢，叫做猫道。
We are closer to the major tower.
说到的
We are working at
长江
the
上走钢索的这样一个
gateway.
钢索，它像是一个玻璃栈道。
It's actually providing the supporting structures of the
那
bridge.
么其实猫道呢这一词是来源于国外的一个直译 catway。
The gateway, the word is actually coming
两座桥
from
墩之间呢是架设了一个空中脚手架，施工人员呢就是在这样的脚手架上面进行施工。
it's like providing suspension structures for the staffs and workers to work at the bridge. Although
不过还好，这里安全设施非常的完备。那么我们可以继续我们的直播。那么其实虽然我现在看不到我整个的样子，但我能够想象到，我现在一定是特别的狼狈，因为在这样的一个高坡度的猫道上进行行走，
because
真的不是一件容易的事。
although I cannot imagine about the works because it's very difficult for me to work at a catway.
一般施工方呢会给工人们准备一些清凉用品，比如说
Just as introduced by engineer Yang, for our company, for the general management company, they will provide all kinds of the supporting medicines for the workers.
来了，再回头看一下，我们刚才我们爬行的这个猫道，可能也就是全长的1/4都不到。
The catway we have been walked through is less than a quarter of the general bridge, and if I am actually climb up, it actually
来回数趟，
wear me out. But for
尤其是最近的高温天气，
engineers like Mr. Luo, they need to work for over 5 times every day for the whole bridge. And especially the Wuhan municipality recently is actually under a quite heavy temperature.